Former Congressman Billy Long. Long has been tapped by President-elect Trump to lead the Internal Revenue Service. He's a former auctioneer and real estate guy who, according to Open Secrets, is a millionaire. Since he left office in 2023, Long has been advising businesses on how to avoid paying taxes, which I guess is what qualifies him for the job now. Long has specialized in helping companies take advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit, which is aimed at businesses that retained employees and faced hardships during the pandemic. But according to the IRS, it's the most fraud-ridden tax credit out there, and the agency has temporarily stopped processing new claims. Initially, the tax credit was estimated to cost the government about $55 billion, but it's ballooned to $230 billion thanks to a number of tax consultants like Long who've pushed ineligible businesses to take advantage of it. As commissioner of the IRS, Long will be able to better help his former clients seize on the fraudulent tax credit. In a statement, Senator Ron Wyden, the chair of the Senate Finance Committee, said of Long's nomination, quote, "What's most concerning is that Mr. Long left office and jumped into the scam-plagued industry involving the Employee Retention Tax Credit. These ERTC mills that have popped up over the last few years are essentially fraud on an industrial scale, conning small businesses and ripping off American taxpayers to the tune of billions of dollars. I'm going to have a lot of questions about Mr. Long's role in this business. First and foremost, why the American people ought to trust somebody involved with a fraud-ridden industry to run an agency that's tasked with rooting out fraud." While working to make sure the super rich don't have to pay taxes, Long also tried to strip the tax-exempt status of the country's top animal rights group, the Humane Society. Here's how Lever News reported it. Quote, "In 2011, Long signed a letter pushing the IRS to launch a probe of the tax-exempt status of the Humane Society of the United States, a nonprofit that focuses on animal welfare and opposes animal cruelty. The letter followed the Humane Society's support of a successful Missouri ballot measure strengthening regulations on dog breeders." Long called for the IRS Inspector General to investigate the Humane Society for improper activities related to its tax-exempt status. So this is another campaign Long will be able to see out to completion if given the reins at the nation's tax agency. And this is a pretty critical time for the IRS. The agency has taken steps recently to improve its customer service, to make it easier for people to use free filing programs, and with some extra funding, it's been able to more aggressively pursue wealthy tax cheats. But it still has a long way to go, and all those gains could be erased. For example, the IRS is right now trying to crack down on rich people who don't file their taxes at all. Current tax law incentivizes them not to do so by making it a felony to file false tax returns, but only a misdemeanor to file no tax returns at all. New program to contact these non-filers resulted in the IRS getting 21,000 of them to file their taxes, generating more than $250 million in added revenue to the government. But there are still a lot of rich non-filers out there, perhaps as much as $100 billion in untaxed income. According to Senate Finance Committee data, only 5,460 of the roughly 25,000 highest income non-filers, people who made more than $1 million, actually filed their taxes after receiving a notice from the IRS. The rest are holding out for someone like Long. There are proposals to increase the penalties for non-filers, but with Billy Long in charge, those proposals won't go anywhere, and it's likely that the progress made toward a free filing system or toward recouping unpaid taxes from the super rich will be tossed overboard by Long too. I mean, this is a guy who on multiple occasions as a lawmaker introduced legislation to abolish the IRS, to abolish the income tax, to abolish the estate tax, and just to replace it all with highly regressive sales taxes that the working class will have to shoulder the burden of. It was back in the 1980s when hotel magnate Leona Helmsley got busted for federal tax evasion. During her trial, a housekeeper testified to hearing her once say, quote, "We don't pay taxes, only the little people pay taxes." Well, if Helmsley was still alive today to see a class ally heading the IRS next, she'd probably weep tears of joy. Billy Long, he's this week's Rich Dick. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.